Very good, Kyle, and you get to go first in this next round. How will you take a collaborative approach involving student organizations?
Well, that kind of just goes into what I just kind of talked about. The student centers right now, I don't know if you guys know, they have a required office hour every week. And to be honest with you, I don't think too much productive stuff really happens during that office hour. So what I do is I change that to every other week. I have the senator go to an organization of their choice, whether that's an organization that they're in, a fraternity that they're in, sorority that they're in, or it's just an organization that they're fond of or they think is really important on campus. And I want to have them inform all the organizations about what is going on in SGA, what's going on in Topeka, what education is going to look like in the future, and then from the same time, I want to have those organizations let the senators know what they want done in student government. Student senators need to become more informed. We were very uninformed, I think, when it came to allocations this year, and that's something I think we can change. So that's kind of how I do it.
All right, and Carolyn, how will you take a collaborative approach involving student organizations?
I think promotion is a big deal because I think if you're promoting all the organizations on campus, if we have student government out on campus talking about the different organizations that they're involved in, talking about what SGA can do to help their organization, I think that not only looks good on student government, but it also looks good on other organizations who maybe didn't realize how easy it was to come to student government for help, didn't realize how easy it was to pair up with other organizations. It is so simple. It's as simple as telling everybody what time they meet and where they meet. Because if we can get student organizations involved with each other and with their student government, I think that's just, it makes our image, it makes our Fort Hays image look really, really good. And it helps us grow. So if we as SGA promote other student organizations to each other, whether it's going to student organizations and talking about another one, saying here's an idea that they have, why don't you get together and talk to them because I think you could make this a really big deal. Or having student organizations come to an SGA meeting, which we've done a couple of times this year, and have them say this is what we're doing. If anybody wants to help, if anybody wants more, if anybody's interested, if anybody needs more information, then we do that too. I think it's just a matter of being loud about it.
All right, Carolyn, and you go first on this question. How do you plan to involve the student body with the legislature?
I think, again, it goes back to information. If they don't know what the legislature is doing, then they're not going to get involved. If they don't know who their legislators are, they're not going to get involved. So, informing the students, maybe sending newsletters or walking around campus and handing out information about what's going on in the legislature and saying things like, this is how, and relating it back to their own life. If students don't know what they're going to be, what's going on in Topeka that affects them, it doesn't matter to them. If they don't know what's going on, they feel like it's not relevant to their lives. And I think that's something that definitely needs to be changed. We need to go around and inform the students because the legislature is making changes on behalf, or we're making the recommendations on behalf of the students. So if the legislators aren't making the changes that benefit the students or that help them improve a little bit, I think it's either because they weren't sending the right message or because they didn't know what was going on.
All right, and Kyle, how do you plan to involve the student body with the legislature?
First of all, I'd implement, as soon as I got into office, if I was elected, I would start a newsletter that goes out every 2 weeks directly from myself and my vice president, which would be Alex Hindy, and whoever I nominate as legislative affairs director. This newsletter that comes out every 2 weeks would inform all students exactly what happened at the Student Advisory Committee and what's going on in the House, in the Senate, and that would just really inform the students exactly what we are doing, not just at Topeka, but also in student government here on campus. And one thing I also would implement is an all-school, I guess, email yeah, we put in all the freshmen's packets they receive, handbooks, right when they get into the dorms. And this email would be for, like, it would go to all exec staff, it'd be forwarded to all exec staff. And the purpose of this email is to, for any questions or concerns that students would have that they want to express, or have any sort of things about student government, anything, and they don't feel like they want to go talk to us in person, that's an easy way for them to reach us. And we would be able to, respond. If it was forwarded on to all exec members, we'd be able to respond very quickly and in a timely manner. And I think that would really just create a lot easier way of communicating between us and the students.
All right. Now we have one last question for this part of the forum, and this would go to you, Kyle, first. Where do you see yourself in 10 years?
Oh, okay. Where do I see myself in 10 years? Well, after Fort Hays, I'd like to maybe do a year abroad. But if I wasn't after that, I'd probably, go 10 years in the future. I'd be out of law school with maybe, obviously, a law degree. And also, I want to get an MBA with that. And come back somewhere in Kansas and practice estate planning or any kind of, I'm not really sure what kind of specific area of law I want to go into, but I kind of want to get a law degree and maybe do business law, something like that. Maybe be married or have kids. Scary, yeah, I don't want to say that, but yeah.
Thank you. And Carolyn, where do you see yourself in 10 years?
Well, I also plan on going to law school. It's always been a big dream of mine to have a law degree. I used to have a passion, or I used to see myself as a lawyer, but actually being a part of the student government has made me realize that actually, instead of becoming a lawyer and working in an attorney's office or being an attorney myself, I think I'd like to go somewhere, maybe either the state capitol or Washington, D.C., because I am, following the current election, for example, I'm a little bit more outspoken about my opinions about my politics, and so I think that working in politics and making the changes that I wish I could see today, I think is a really big part of what I want to do. So I think either in Washington, D.C. or in a state capitol somewhere.
All right, we thank both of the presidential candidates.